Welcome back, everybody. This episode is kind of a last minute thing. I'd already shot the stuff going out this week, but I got an email from Alan, I don't know how he pronounces his name, the guy that runs AP Mastering. You will probably know him as the guy that puts stuff on his YouTube channel about pro audio that is generally quite controversial. He digs deep into things and goes very deep on his website. He publishes papers. He gets very stuck into maybe the bullshit behind a lot of the stuff in pro audio, to be fair. Haven't always seen entirely eye to eye, but he likes to dig in. You know, he did a big thing about plugins all being a scam, about compressors all sounding the same, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of it is very interesting. He does some really interesting research, and yeah, I enjoy watching his channel. Anyway, got an email from him earlier today saying, I've got a compressor plugin. How do you fancy checking it out? So that's what we're doing. I think this is the first time he's made a plugin that he's actually charging for. So he's now, you know, crossed over. He's on the other side. He's a developer, shall we say. Yeah, so let's have a look. It's called the AP Mastering Curvature. Curvature, as in there are different curves available for the sort of attack and release profiles. And it's a really interesting plugin from that point of view, in that his video where he sort of launched this, he talks about the fact that all compressors, he's found out because of his testing that he's done, pretty much doing the same thing. Under the hood, they're all doing the same thing. They might look different, but they're doing the same. I'm not 100% sure that's entirely true. However, maybe they're doing something incredibly similar. It sort of doesn't bother me whether that's true or not, because the reason I pick one compressor over another for a specific job is because I understand how to use it based on its GUI, and very quickly I get what I want. So, for instance, when I stick an API 2500 on my drum bus, it will take me 5 seconds to set it up to get the smack I want on my drum bus, because I've been using it for years. When I get an LA2A and stick it on my vocal, I know it's going to take me seconds to set that up to make the vocal sound great, because I've been using it for years. The SSL bus compressor, again, I've been using it so long, it's very quick. I understand the interface very well. It takes me no time at all to set it up. So that is why people pick different compressors. And yes, they might buy them because of, you know, they look cool. I can completely buy into that. They probably do. Buying plugins is a little bit like selling crack. Not being funny, people get addicted to having new stuff all the time. And yes, stuff that looks pretty sells easier. I get that. Anyway, AP Mastering has gone in the opposite direction and made a plugin that looks very functional and very non-skeuomorphic, shall we say. It doesn't look like a compressor that could ever exist in the real world. So let's have a look at it. There's basically three main windows. This window is, as you can see, you've got a bunch of tabs across the top that take you to the different windows, and the M1, the gear, is the settings. And then you've got your attack at the top, where it goes from fast on the left to slow on the right, and you click on one of those circles and that's how you set that. Down here you've got the release, same again, fast and then slow. Down the bottom here you've got feed forward or feed back, and then at the very bottom, each one of these circles is a different preset. Now there's a bunch of presets for each one of these curve setups, so you pick classic or log squared or linear, whatever one you pick, there are a bunch of presets for each one. There's a bunch of empty setup squares, whatever you want to call them. Apparently these are going to be added to, and that will be free updates as it goes along. This one on the bottom right hand corner that looks like a $sign, this is a wacky thing he's done here. So I'm going to have to read this from his from his website where the manual is. And it's the Black Skulls option. So what is Black Skulls? He's put nerd answer. The Black Skulls Merton options pricing model is a parabolic partial differential equation derived under assumption that the underlying asset follows a geometric Brownian motion, implying log normal price dynamics with the discounted asset price evolving as a martingale under the risk neutral measure. So basically, when you're trading, hedge fund trading, that kind of stuff, it's a way of making trades that are almost risk-free. So it says, translation, it's the math that options traders on Wall Street use to make or lose millions of dollars every day in the stock market. It's also a particularly beautiful bit of maths, not math, which won the Nobel Prize. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. It's a weird equation which you could sort of apply to compression. So the stock price is represented by the incoming signal level, the expiration date of the stock, the compressor time constraints, the strike price, the threshold, the exposure, compression ratio or strength, and the volatility, signal dynamics. Now, this is a wacky thing to do, but it's probably the most interesting way to use this compressor because it does some mad stuff. Let's have a quick look at that now because it is quite mad. So there you go, bonkers stuff. The full demo is at the end, but I just thought I'd show that here. Let's move on to the second window. The second window is where you've got your sidechain settings. So obviously you can have flat and you can have the bottom end skewed off, the top end skewed off, steeper, blah, 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 all different kinds of sidechains. You just click the one you want. You've got the sidechain gain. You don't often get that. That's quite nice to have. And then you have two buttons. You can have an external sidechain. Obviously, a lot of plugins do that. If you click main, it routes this sidechain setting to the main output. So if you're going to scoop off all the bottom end, that will do that to the main output rather than just what's triggering the compressor. Again, it's kind of interesting. I don't know how much you'd use it, but we'll come to that later. I think there are uses for that. The final window is, I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like the deep dive. It's the back end. It's where you've got control over attack and release again, but this time in a knob configuration. You have stereo link from nothing to 100%. You then have some Greek words. You have kappa, gamma, lambda, theta. You then also have feedback and sealing. Feedback and sealing, we know what they do. So kappa. They're not always available. It depends which algorithm you're using. Kappa quite often refers to attack or something to do with attack. Theta is kind of ratio on some of the presets, not all of them. Gamma is quite often the gain reduction apex, not always. Sometimes it's kind of like a resonance. And then lambda is generally related to release, but on the chaos setting, it affects the amount of chaos. So yeah, it's random. There's kind of no way to tell you how to deal with this window other than to mess around with it, look at the graph at the bottom, use your ears, see what's going on. We can see on the right here at the top, we've got in meters and out meters and a gain reduction meter. There's an in, a mix and an out. The in is always connected to the out in that if you push in, up, out goes down. You know, the auto gain thing is on unless you hold shift and then it goes off, which is kind of the opposite to the way it normally is. In use, you will see at the end from the demo, I'll show you now. There's some stuff that goes on when you're messing around with it sometimes where it freaks out. If you turn the in up too loud and the out down too quiet, you know, because they're matched, it makes some freaky noises. There's also quite a lot of times when you're messing around flipping through presets and trying things out where there's a good chance you're going to cause some damage if you're not careful. There really should be a warning, because sometimes the level jumps unbelievably and it's loud and distorted, and luckily monitors are mostly protected these days, but not everybody's are. Mind your ears if you're on headphones. It's a bit nuts. It can do some crazy stuff, so beware would be a warning, I would say. Is it useful? Look, this can do so many different kinds of compression, and if you can be bothered to put the time in, it will do way more than almost every other plug-in compressor out there. The difference is you have to dig in and find those sounds, find that setting that's going to work. I can 100% see that working in a sound design kind of way. If you're doing something cinematic, you want a massive big synth with like distorted compression that's doing something mad. This is a good go-to for that. If you want to do some crazy stuff with compression, this is great. But if I'm mixing or mastering, I want to grab tools that are just going to work quickly and do the job I need them to do. This probably isn't going to be my go-to. I think he knows that. I think it says it on the website. This isn't going to be your mastering compressor that you go to. It's not really designed for that. Yeah, I would be careful with it. It does do crazy stuff, and there's no level matching going on with these presets, so be careful with that. Things I don't like, I would say probably the GUI. Yeah, I understand it. It's standing against what everyone else is doing. I find it not particularly... It's not intuitive. It's just not particularly inviting to use, which I think there's an issue there. I think that's something that people appreciate. They want to use something that looks good. Demo. There isn't a demo. I don't know why there isn't a demo. He says there just isn't a demo. It's just the way he's decided to do it. He does have a free compressor, which is possibly built on similar stuff. It's not this. It doesn't do all the crazy stuff, but it's a solid compressor. So you can go and get that for free. If you like that, then I guess you might know or not whether you're going to like this. But a demo of some kind would be a useful thing to add. Price-wise, it's 49 euros. For me, that kind of price level is that's the right place for a plugin to be at. I don't think plugins should generally be more than that. Is this worth that? Yeah, probably. It does a lot. You've got to get stuck in. This isn't like any other compressor plugin you've got. You're not just going to fire up a preset and off you go. It's not that kind of thing. In fact, I feel like I haven't done it justice in the demo because I just run some tracks through it. But realistically, you want to be sticking synths through this and drums through this and doing all kinds of mad stuff. But, experiment. Star rating. This is going to be really difficult. It's not something I'm likely to use, if I'm honest. But if ever I am required to create something that's doing crazy sounds, yeah, I might remember this and go, I might be able to do something with that. I think the GUI, not my cup of tea. I totally understand other people will like it. I think the problems with the level jumping in use, that's not ideal. That could do with looking at. And I put too complex down as a negative as well, but thinking about it, I'm going to scratch that one because that's kind of the point of it. It's complex because it's incredibly versatile on purpose. So I'm going to go with 3 stars. Not shit. It's a really interesting plugin. You'll know from watching his video. Go and watch it, AP Mastering channel, whether you're going to like it or whether you're not. It's not a run-of-the-mill. If you need a good vocal compressor or a good mastering compressor, this isn't the thing you need. This is something else. It's a very creative thing. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully he's not going to crucify me for speaking the truth. It's interesting. Watch the demo. I'm sure the stuff with the mad level jumps and all of that is stuff that's probably fixable at some point in the future. But I understand if you're doing this stuff yourself, smart guy, he's programmed this himself apparently, which is, I can't do that. That's a good on him. Anyway, there you go. AP Mastering, 3 stars, not shit. Go and have a look. It's worth playing with. Right, if you could like the video, that really helps. If you could subscribe to the channel, that helps even more. There's an Instagram, which is Mixdown Mastering. There's also the website, with the top 5 plugins, and there's courses on mixing and mastering and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. The demo is coming up. I will see you next time. Adios.
You're calling my phone. I'm being patient, but I'm all alone. Staying faithful, and I'll never know when you're coming back around. When you're coming back around. When you're coming back around. You've got me saying words in my head, filling my mind with these images, yeah. And it's the way that you look at me, makes me feel like I can't breathe. It ain't right, right, right. It ain't right, right, right. It ain't right. Oh no, it ain't right, right, right. It ain't right, right, right. It ain't right. Oh no, you're calling my phone. I'm being patient, but I'm all alone. Staying faithful, and I'll never know when you're coming back around. When you're coming back around. Mind blown, many fears, worries you can let go. Dry your tears, promise I will stay close. Oh, I've been where you are. We all got scars. Oh. Many fears, worries you can let go. Dry your tears, promise I will stay close. Oh, I've been where you are. We all got scars. Oh. I just want